So I've been wanting to make a video lately called Science Sells. And it's kind of a double meaning because science sells, meaning the way that they sell so much, not only products but philosophies, but under the guise of science, scientifically formulated to do such and such, or scientifically proven for such and buy our product now. Yes, please buy it. And we see this at churches, we see this at veterinarian hospitals. And so the second way is science sells, right? Because you can sell it. I mean, it sells, whether it's a product, but it just sells because it sounds good, you know. So I guess what I'm trying to say is there's kind of a philosophy idea behind it, and there's actually just the real sell, right? So another thing that's on my mind that I wanted to share is the idea of and this is related for me personally because I recently went to the veterinarian clinic and I saw this, the way they were trying to sell me all of this stuff, and it just makes me realize how much we can actually learn from dogs, you know, probably animals in general, because the scripture says that, you know, that God can be known because of his creation. See, so that's another thing against this talisman, sorcerer, circus, panem et circenses, food and entertainment that the world calls church, which it comes directly from Circe, and circus and circle, which is also the idea of the enchantress of the Isle of Aya, named Circe. So, and we see that they do transform people into strange beasts and swine, which comes from the book that John wrote at the end of your Bible, where they say that they gave the nations a drink of her cup, Mystery Babylon, right? Well, we see that we can learn a lot from dogs, and I went there today, or yesterday actually, and they were saying they wanted to cut my dog's testicles off. So, and that's exactly what they said, but they said it politically correct. When do you plan on neutering your dog? I don't plan on neutering him, but I guess if I had wanted to, I would have told her that, right? Well, anyways, the point being that I told her because one day I might want to get him a girl dog so he can have a little girlfriend, right? Nemo. Y'all have seen him before. Y'all probably, the people who've been watching for a while, they've seen him since he was a puppy. And so the dogs create a great analogy for the way that human beings are viewed by governments, just human resources. They view us as human resources, and they just view us as something that's disposable. I can't think of the word right now, but just where you could just get rid of it, or you could kill them, or whatever. That's how governments view us, much the same way that people speak of animals. So, and this is quite literal. Some people believe Daniel was a eunuch. He had to have been a eunuch because he was under the prince of the eunuchs. If you read in Daniel, he asked the leader of the eunuchs while the king was making such a hasty decision to kill all of the wise men, since no one can interpret his dream. So anyways, the dog would be a eunuch because they would be taking away his ability to produce. And what do they do to humans? What are they doing? They work us half to death, and there's a lot of ideas out there about, for example, why they put fluoride in our water, or why we're using fluoride in our toothpaste, which seeps into our mouth, absorbs drugs. You know, you can put certain kinds of pills under your tongue, and it will absorb. I'm making a video. My wife just pulled up. So the animals, proskuneo is the word worship in the Bible, and it comes from pros, which means to lean towards, and kuneo, dog. So kune is dog, and so it actually means to kiss the hand, the way that a dog licks your hand and shows you obeisance as its master. And God is our chief. He's the head honcho of us, and dogs will actually lick another dog's mouth and lick around his teeth and stuff to show him that he's the superior dog. So like in a wolf pack, right? A wolf pack, the ones who are the weaker dogs will lick the stronger dogs around its mouth to show that it's superior, or it will lick it, right? So, and dogs also lick our hands, so to kiss the hand. That's what the word worship actually means. So, and we also get our word cynic from kune, and it means dog-like. So we can get a lot of analogies, because I said, yeah, he might want to, we might get him a girl dog one day so he can have some puppies or something, And she's like, oh, well, I don't recommend breeding mutts. I only recommend if if it's a purebred. So, so now we're talking about royalty, right? Because that's what they want. They don't want a bunch of poor people breeding, which poor people do breed a lot, right? Just like the mutts out here on the streets are the ones having lots of puppies, and they consider that a problem. Spade and neuter your pets, right? Like, what was that show? The Price is Right. Spade and neuter your pets, he'd say, right at the end of every show. I think his name was Bob White. I can't remember his whole name, but anyways, that's how they view people. Like, that's what we're talking about. The analogy of humans to dogs, right? We look at dogs and we can see the way they view people. They don't want us breeding, The kings, they want to breed, the kings and the princes of the earth, because they want an heir, right? Well, that's one of the funny things about, that I think is interesting about, like, some of these, like the polygamists out there, like the Mormons, is it's kind of like, it just, I'm not condoning it or encouraging it. I'm just saying that I think it's kind of funny because, they'll have like a family of like 100 people. So it's like they're starting their own kingdom, right? And that kind of flies in the face of the kings of this earth who want to rule everybody, who are actually having their heirs, but they don't want us to have a kingdom. And that's what God has given us. God has given us a kingdom. And we might not be able to see it because of how wicked this world is, but there's a huge family on the earth. Maybe not huge, but it's like God said, he wouldn't destroy Sodom and Gomorrah if there was 10 righteous people there, right? If there were 10 righteous people, he wouldn't destroy it. And guess what? It got destroyed. And you know what? He saved the one righteous person there. So, and he even saved the family because of that one righteous person. So, well, we've covered the way that people like to use science to sell philosophies and sell products. And we've also covered some interesting analogies that we see in the way that they view dogs. You could say the same thing about the way that governments and hegemony, the influence of these rich families and these rich people view people. They don't want the masses to be overproducing. They want to control population growth, which is controlling our breeding. And that's the same things people say about animals. So spade and neuter your pets. So anyways, I just thought I'd share that with y'all. And it's beautiful out here. It's a beautiful creation God made, and we destroy it. Man destroys it, and we all fall short of the glory of God. And we got to quit heroifying these people, these scientists, putting them up on a pedestal with their great worldly philosophies, and stop raising up these pastors and these coaches and these instructors, right, of the youth, and start putting God on a pedestal and raise God and offer him the thanks and praise of our mouth instead of these wicked people who are just like us, right? Oh, but they sure do appear much better in their tuxedos and with their glossed over language and their glossed over buildings and their glossed over bodies. And well, we know that's what fallen man does. They want things to look good. They want everything to look great and to sound great. And if it doesn't, they're not going to listen to it, right? So I'm glad that God has chosen the base things of the earth to confound the wise and the princes and the nobles and the judges of the earth, because that's incredible. That's where we can meet, right? That's where we can meet as believers, down at the bottom, down in the gutter, right? Once we're cut down and we're kicked off that ladder and we stop chasing dollar bills and start enjoying this beautiful green sky, these green trees and this blue sky with these beautiful white clouds and this beautiful earth God has given us, right? And just try to, as much as we can, get back there like the Native Americans would say, right? Like the indigenous population that we completely destroyed in the name of civilization. We're more civilized, and we must use ethnocentricity and Eurocentricity to get these people to be like us city dwellers, right? Because they're so savage. But man, I tell you what, the indigenous population, they knew how to coexist with this planet, and they were very great hunters, and they had a great way of life. And you know what? It took a bunch of wicked city dwellers to come over here to completely destroy them in the name of being civilized. And you know, I know that they were especially in South America, the Aztecs and the Mayans and some of those places down there, they were well on their way to doing the same thing we probably. Eventually, if they would have just kept building up their cities, eventually they might have came out that way and did the same thing to us, right? But, well, anyways, we know how people compete for resources and want each other's sons as slaves and their daughters for breeding. I mean, that's how people act. That's how the world is, you know? When we're all absorbed in lust and covetousness, pleonectes, idolatry, we serve what we see. We want people's resources. We want a big boat. We want a nice car. We want a big, nice house. We want to go to the best places and act like good aristocrats. And that's how you develop a plutocracy, because then people start getting it, right? This world is wicked. So wicked. But anyways, I hope that this video helped, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. So y'all take it easy. All right, bye.